Ladies and gentlemen, you ever notice how a man will disappear on you, stop texting, stop calling, then out of nowhere he pops back up like nothing happened? Now, before you go celebrating thinking, ooh, he must have realized I'm the one, let me tell you the real reasons men come back after no contact. See, a man knows what's comfortable. And if you were good to him, cooked for him, made him feel special, gave him your time, he remembers that. He ain't coming back because he had an epiphany about love. Nah, he's coming back because it's easier than starting fresh. Think about it. Starting a new relationship takes effort. It takes time, energy, patience. It means learning someone new, figuring out what makes them happy, and building something from the ground up. But going back to someone who already knows him, already understands him, that's easy. Men value convenience more than they like to admit. If he left and you were always there, always available, always the one reaching out, he knows that door is still open. He knows he can slide right back in, pick up where he left off, and you'll welcome him. Not because he's made some big realization about your worth, but because it's simply the path of least resistance. If he really wanted you, he wouldn't have left in the first place. A man who truly values you doesn't walk away and risk losing you. And here's another thing. Sometimes a man will leave thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe he thought he had better options. Maybe he thought he wanted to be single. Maybe he thought he could do better. But then reality hits, he goes out there, meets new people, and realizes, oh, wait, nobody else treats him the way you did. Nobody else puts up with his nonsense the way you did, and suddenly he starts thinking, maybe I made a mistake. But is he coming back because he truly appreciates you now? Or is he just realizing that finding a woman who will tolerate him is harder than he expected? And let's talk about effort. When a man really wants you, he puts in the effort. He's consistent. He makes sure you know where you stand. If he was serious about being with you, he wouldn't have gone ghost. He wouldn't have left you hanging. He wouldn't have put you in a position where you had to question his intentions. But when a man disappears and then comes back, you have to ask yourself, why did he leave in the first place? And more importantly, why is he coming back now? Because sometimes it's not about love. It's about ego. Men hate losing. And the moment you stop chasing, stop checking in, he starts wondering, wait a minute, did she move on? His ego can't handle the thought of you doing just fine without him. He liked knowing you were there, waiting, hoping. He liked knowing he had you as an option. But the second you take that away, the second you stop caring, that's when he panics. That's when he starts thinking, let me check back in and see if I still have a hold on her. And you know what happens if you let him back in too easily? He gets his ego boost, he gets his validation, and then boom, he's gone again. Because it was never about wanting a relationship with you, it was about making sure you still wanted him. And once he's reassured, once he knows he still has access to you, he disappears again until the next time he needs that validation. It's a cycle. But let's get real. If a man truly wants to be with you, he doesn't play these games. He doesn't risk losing you. He doesn't need time to figure things out. A man who's serious about you knows what he wants and moves accordingly. He doesn't disappear for weeks or months and then expect to pick up where he left off. So when he comes back, don't just listen to his words, watch his actions. Is he actually making an effort? Is he showing consistency, or is he just testing the waters, seeing if he still has control? And that's the thing. Men test doors. A man will come back just to see if it's still open. He may not even be ready for a relationship, but he wants to know, can he still walk in and out whenever he pleases? And if you let him, he'll keep doing it. If you allow him to come and go as he pleases, if you forgive too quickly, if you welcome him back without holding him accountable, he learns that he can do it again, and he will. The only way to break that cycle is to show him that you're not an option. You're not someone who waits around. You're not someone who lets a man treat you like a revolving door. You have to set the standard. You have to make it clear that if he wants to be in your life, he has to be consistent. He has to be serious. He has to prove that he's worth your time. Because a real man doesn't leave what he truly values. A real man doesn't risk losing a good woman. And if he does leave and comes back, it's not enough for him to just say he's sorry or that he misses you. Words mean nothing without action. If he wants another chance, he has to earn it. He has to show you through his behavior that he's different. And if he doesn't, then you already have your answer. Men hate losing. And the moment you stop chasing, stop checking in, he starts wondering, wait a minute, did she move on? His ego can't handle the thought of you doing just fine without him. He liked knowing you were there, waiting, hoping. He liked knowing he had you as an option. But the second you take that away, the second you stop caring, that's when he panics. That's when he starts thinking, let me check back in and see if I still have a hold on her. A man's ego is one of the biggest reasons he'll return after no contact. When he first left, he probably thought you'd be there forever, waiting on him. He assumed he could take his time, explore his options, and that you wouldn't go anywhere. But when he realizes you're not texting, not calling, not chasing, he starts to get uncomfortable. He starts questioning himself. He starts wondering if he made a mistake, not because he actually wants a relationship, but because he hates the idea of you moving on without him. Men like to feel in control. When a man leaves a woman, especially one who genuinely cared about him, he expects her to be sad. He expects her to miss him, to wait for him, to keep hoping he'll come back. That feeds his ego. It makes him feel powerful. But when that doesn't happen, when he realizes you're fine without him, that's when the panic sets in. He starts wondering, has she found someone else? Is she happier now? Did she realize she never needed me in the first place? And that thought alone is enough to bring him running back. When a man reaches out after weeks or months of no contact, it's usually not because he's had some grand realization about love. It's because he's checking to see if you're still an option. He wants to know if he still has that hold over you. He might send a simple message, something casual, hey, how have you been? Or I was just thinking about you. It might seem harmless, but what he's really doing is fishing for a reaction. He wants to see if you'll respond quickly, if you'll sound excited, if you'll welcome him back like nothing happened. Because if you do, then he knows he still has a grip on you. This is why so many women get caught in the cycle of a man leaving and coming back over and over again. He disappears, she waits, he comes back, she lets him in, and then he leaves again when his ego is satisfied. It becomes a pattern. He doesn't have to commit. He doesn't have to change. He doesn't have to prove anything. All he has to do is disappear long enough for you to miss him, then come back when he needs an ego boost. If a man truly wanted to be with you, he wouldn't put himself in a position to lose you. He wouldn't play these games. He wouldn't need to test if you're still there, because he would already be there, showing up for you every day. But when a man leaves and comes back, he's not doing it for love, he's doing it for validation. He's doing it because he wants to know that you still want him, even after he treated you like an afterthought. This is why the best thing you can do when a man returns after no contact is to be indifferent. Don't give him the reaction he's looking for. Don't rush to reply. Don't make it easy for him to walk back into your life like nothing happened. Because if he truly regrets leaving, if he really wants to be with you, he'll show it. He won't just say he misses you. He'll prove it through consistent effort. He won't just reach out when it's convenient for him. He'll make sure you know he's serious about staying. But if he's only coming back for his ego, for that reassurance that he still has access to you, then the moment you give him what he wants, he'll disappear again. That's why so many women feel confused when a man comes back, acts interested for a little while, then suddenly pulls away again. It's because he wasn't there for the right reasons. He just wanted to know that he could still have you. And once he got that confirmation, he no longer needed to stick around. A man's ego is fragile. He doesn't like to feel replaced. He doesn't like to feel forgotten. He wants to believe that he's the best you've ever had, that no one else will ever make you feel the way he did. And when he realizes that you've moved on, that you're no longer thinking about him, that's when he panics. That's when he starts sending messages, liking your pictures, trying to find a way back into your life. Not because he wants to love you better this time, but because he can't stand the thought of you being okay without him. If you let a man back in too easily, you teach him that he can leave and return whenever he wants. You show him that he doesn't have to change, he doesn't have to commit, he doesn't have to work for your love. He just has to wait until he feels like coming back, and you'll be there, waiting. That's why the only way to break this cycle is to refuse to be an option. Refuse to be someone he can come back to whenever his ego needs a boost. If he left, let him stay gone. If he comes back, make him prove that he deserves another chance. Because a real man, a man who truly values you, won't risk losing you in the first place. A man will come back just to see if the door is still open. He may not even be ready for a relationship, but he wants to know if he can still walk in and out whenever he pleases. If you let him, he'll keep doing it. If you allow him to come and go as he pleases, if you forgive too quickly, if you welcome him back without holding him accountable, he learns that he can do it again. And he will. Men test boundaries. They push to see what they can get away with. If a man knows that he can disappear for weeks, months, even years and still have access to you, why would he respect your time? Why would he treat you as a priority if he knows you'll always be there, no matter how he behaves? It's not that he's deeply in love or suddenly realize your worth. It's that he wants to know if you still allow him in your life without consequences. Men don't like closed doors. They like to have options even if they aren't fully committed to any of them. When a man leaves and then comes back, he's not always coming back for the right reasons. He may not be thinking about a serious relationship. He may not be thinking about commitment. What he's thinking about is access. Can he still call you? Can he still text you? Can he still come back when it's convenient for him? He's not thinking about how his actions hurt you or what he put you through when he walked away. He's thinking about himself. When a man walks away and then returns, it's rarely about love. It's about control. He wants to know that if things don't work out elsewhere, he still has a backup plan. He wants to know that you're still available, that he still holds a place in your heart. And if you let him back in without hesitation, without making him prove himself, he learns that he can always do this. He learns that he doesn't have to be serious, that he doesn't have to commit, that he doesn't have to be consistent. All he has to do is come back when he feels like it, and you'll be there. If a man is serious about being in your life, he won't leave in the first place. He won't risk losing you. He won't play games with your emotions, disappearing and reappearing like nothing happened. But when a man knows that he can leave and return whenever he pleases, he takes you for granted. He stops appreciating you. He stops valuing your time and your feelings. He starts thinking that no matter what he does, you'll always be there. This is why setting boundaries is so important. You have to teach people how to treat you. If you let a man come and go as he pleases, you're teaching him that you don't value yourself enough to demand consistency. You're showing him that he can do the bare minimum and still have access to you. And the more you allow it, the more he'll take advantage of it. When a man leaves, let him leave. Don't chase, don't beg, don't wait for him to come back. Because if he truly wanted to be with you, he wouldn't have left in the first place. And if he does come back, don't make it easy for him. Don't let him slide back into your life like nothing happened. Make him prove that he deserves another chance. Make him show through his actions that he's changed, that he's serious, that he's ready to commit. But if he's only coming back to test the door to see if he still has access, then don't waste your time. Don't let him play with your emotions. Because the moment he gets comfortable again, the moment he realizes that you're still there, he'll leave again. And you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of waiting, hoping, and being disappointed over and over again. The only way to break this cycle is to close the door completely. Stop giving chances to people who don't deserve them. Stop allowing men to come back without proving that they've changed. Stop making excuses for why he left and focus on the fact that he did. Because a man who truly values you will never put himself in a position to lose you. He won't leave, disappear, or play games with your emotions. A man who genuinely cares will be consistent, will show up for you every day, and will never make you question where you stand. But when a man comes back after no contact, You have to ask yourself, why? Is he returning because he's realized your worth and is ready to commit? Or is he just testing to see if you're still available? The key to breaking the cycle is recognizing your own value. You are not an option. You are not a backup plan. You are not someone a man can pick up and put down whenever he feels like it. If he left, let him stay gone. If he returns, make him prove through consistent actions, not just words, that he deserves a place in your life. Too many women make the mistake of letting a man back in too easily, believing that his return means he truly cares. But love is not about leaving and coming back. Love is about staying, choosing, and showing up every single day. You deserve someone who doesn't need to lose you to realize your worth. You deserve someone who values you from the start, who respects your time, and who sees your presence as a privilege, not a convenience. The moment you stop accepting half-hearted efforts, the moment you close the door to inconsistency, is the moment you open yourself up to real love. A man who is serious about you won't test the door. He'll knock, ask for permission to enter, and prove that he intends to stay.